So at this point, everyone knows or should know how underwhelming the season has been for Kentucky. They're currently 8-13 even after winning 3 straight games, and their slow season has been pointed to as a reason for the decline in draft interest for BJ Boston, along with his own disappointing play. Because BJ has gone from a guy who was widely seen as a lottery pick to a guy that will go late in the first round because of his potential, which really isn't that bad. I mean, who wouldn't mind going in the first round of the NBA draft, but for BJ it is a drop off. And there's actually another Kentucky player by the name of Terrence Clarke in a similar situation to BJ, but no one really brings it up. ESPN had Terrence projected to go 15th before games began, but they've now dropped him by 30 spots and barely believe he will go pro this year. And now you could say it's because of his ankle injury concerns as he's not currently playing. However, he played in 7 games before injury, and just 7 games were enough for Coach Calipari to come out and recognize him as Kentucky's best player. Plus, there have also been some past drafts where injuries were not enough to keep NBA teams from being interested. So yeah, in today's video, we're going to look at Terrence Clarke's come up, his play in college, and why his draft interest has plummeted. But before I go any further, what's up YouTube, Plug Speaks, back with a vid. If you are new, first of all, welcome, go ahead and subscribe. Also, like the video if you enjoy. I drop bangers 3 to 4 times a week, and we're grinding for 5K, so I for sure appreciate it. But back to the vid though. So Terrence Clarke was a 5-star recruit and ranked 10th in his class coming out of high school. And the later parts of his high school career are really when his notoriety and national attention began to rise rapidly, because he spent his junior and senior years at Brewster Academy, which is a private school with a great athletics program that has helped produce some NBA players today like Devontae Graham, TJ Warren, and Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, Terrence Clarke drew a lot of attention by balling out at this school. As a senior, he put up 18.5 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 3 assists to help lead Brewster to a 34-4 record and go deep into the playoffs until COVID ended everything. Then he also grew national attention by showing out in Nike EYBL each summer, and all this success earned him a spot on Sports Illustrated's All-American third team, along with many D1 offers to amazing schools like Duke, UCLA, and of course Kentucky. But yeah, the driving force in Terrence Clarke's hype coming up was easily his ability as a scorer to just dominate the opposing team and to also do it in entertaining fashion. Whether it be athletic dunks right on top of defenders, dunk contests, worthy dunks in transition, acrobatic finishes, pull-up jumpers, and even pull-up threes from time to time, but that was in high school. However, now that he's at Kentucky, he's shown flashes of some of this, but other abilities have yet to translate to the D1 level. So yeah, through 7 games played at Kentucky, Terrence Clarke is averaging about 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists on 43% from the field and 22% from 3. And at first glance, this may look solid besides the 3-point shooting, being that he's on a team with so much talent. However, some other stats in his actual play reveal all the reasons why scouts are losing interest towards him in the upcoming draft. But first, let's talk about the good. There is a reason Coach Calipari said he's been Kentucky's best player. Terrence Clarke knows his best ability is scoring the ball, and in the 7 games that he played, he made sure to show that he can really play that shooting guard position with a 6'7" build. He's had a game where the defense could not stop him, like his 22 points on 9-14 shooting against Georgia Tech. But he's also had games where he's gone cold and nothing falls for him, and that's where things get bad for Terrence Clarke, because when he is not scoring, there's not much else he really contributes to winning. And despite how it sounds, that isn't much of a problem when a guy can really score at an elite level. For example, LSU's Cameron Thomas is a pure scorer and does a bunch of nothing besides that. However, his draft interest has been rising regardless because he can really score the ball. But when it comes to Terrence Clarke, he's yet to show this elite level of scoring consistently in college. And maybe he would have shown this if he were not injured, but so far he is not, because his 3-point percentage of 22% is nowhere near the level expected of NBA shooting guards, and then his free throw percentage of 47% on 2 attempts per game has to be a major turnoff for NBA teams as well. But beyond this, I want to speak on what the future holds for Terrence Clarke, because at this point it's understandable why his 2021 draft stock has fallen so much. But in my opinion, the future is still bright. I mean, I know one and done is the expectation with these top recruits, especially when they choose D1 programs like Kentucky. However, I don't see Terrence Clarke's situation as one and done or bust, and I will detail why in a moment. But first, I want to bring up a quote that Terrence Clarke made over a year ago before he ever decided what school he wanted to go to. And it's very interesting in retrospect because in this quote, he explained that he wants whatever program he chooses to be player development oriented and family oriented, which is basically Kentucky. I mean, they may be having an off year, but the amount of NBA players they produced over the past decade, and especially during the Calipari era, is undeniable. And that's why the future is still bright for Terrence Clarke, and it's also why he should have no trouble staying another year for development. And I'll admit, usually this would not be the case for a Kentucky player because this program is always bringing in recruits with one and done potential. And if Terrence Clarke played point guard or center, he might be in trouble because Kentucky has recruited some top 2021 players in those positions. But he plays shooting guard, and that spot is still open. The only top prospect Kentucky could land that plays this position is Jaden Hardy. However, I believe Jaden Hardy is G League bound, so yeah, Terrence Clarke would still be the starting shooting guard and would have a whole nother year to polish his game. He's already shown flashes of explosive scoring just like he did in high school, but now he could improve the three-point shooting, the free throw shooting, and other parts of his game that he can go without now but will need at the pro level, such as some type of playmaking ability or just defense. And the potential for defense is definitely there. We're talking about a 6'7" shooting guard. Imagine the type of mismatch he could be in the NBA where 6'3" guys like CJ McCollum also play shooting guard. I mean, there's just a whole lot of potential with Terrence Clarke overall, even in this quote-unquote down year or season for Kentucky. And if he were to stay, I wouldn't be surprised if he weren't the only one because guys like Devin Askew or even BJ Boston could for sure use another year of college, and maybe then we would see the Kentucky of old, which sounds weird saying, but yeah, the Kentucky of old where qualifying for March Madness is not even a question. But anyway, I'm about to wrap this video up. Comment below how you feel about Terrence Clarke's play, and before I end the vid, let me say that it is still possible for Terrence to be taken in the draft this year for sure. I'm not saying he would go undrafted, even ESPN has not counted him out completely. But again, just thinking about how much more he could develop, why not give it another year, especially since that shooting guard spot should be open unless they get Jaden Hardy, which would be very tough. But yeah, I just believe that he would improve so much offensively and defensively that it would just be so beneficial. But yeah, that's it for me. I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think of his situation. Like this up, share it, sub if new, all of that. And I'm out.